Welcome to the official podcast of Vienna Shadows, a secret society uncovering Vienna's hidden mysteries. Lean back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are strapping in for, well, what the sources call a high-speed collision, a collision between the improvisational complexity of jazz and the visceral fury of punk.
It's an incredible subject. We're diving into a fictional but, and this is key, a rigorously defined genre, a whole cultural movement called Jazzpunk, centered on this artist, Amara Klang, in 1920s Vienna.
And we are pulling from everything, right? We have album transcripts, Jazzpunk monster busters, and then these dense philosophical manifestos from the movement itself.
Exactly. And it's all set against this backdrop they call the Vienna Shadows cosmic horror framework. So it's this blend of political rage, intellectual rebellion, and, well, Lovecraftian dread.
Right. So our mission today is to figure out how this all works. How does this genre function as a complete system of thought? The manifestos call it intellectual anarchy.
I think a great term for it.
So what happens when you take the harmonic sophistication of, say, early bebop, and you smash it into the raw, distorted three-chord attack of punk, and you do it all against this decaying post-Habsburg European modernism?
Well, what's fascinating is that Jazzpunk isn't just a sound. At its core, it's the sound of a carefully constructed system being ripped apart. The manifesto actually defines it as wetting the harmonic intellect of jazz with the anti-establishment fury of punk.
So it demands skill.
It demands incredible skill, but it demands that skill be used for sabotage, for, vandalism.
And the center of this whole storm is the archetype of Amara Klang herself.
Yeah.
The Lärmfrau.
The noise woman.
Yeah. Literally the noise woman.
And she is the lightning rod. She defines the entire scene in these clandestine, smoky Lärmkeller noise cellars, places where radicals and disillusioned youth gather to hear music that basically articulates their own sense of betrayal.
And the establishment, what do they think?
Oh, the Viennese bourgeoisie. They see it as asphalt cacophony.
Asphalt cacophony.
Yeah, they call it a symptom of the city's decay, a kind of cultural infection.
Okay, so let's unpack this philosophy. The manifesto uses this perfect phrase, virtuosic vandalism. But again, how does demanding high technical skill fit with punk's, anti-establishment rage? Isn't punk supposed to be accessible, unskilled even?
That is the core conflict, and I think the genius of the genre. The sources are absolutely clear on this. This is the chaos of intent, not the chaos of ignorance.
Yeah.
A jazz punk musician has to have the chops, right? The mastery to play a technically clean line. But they actively choose to play it through a broken amplifier with this just corrosive energy. It's deliberate deconstruction.
So they're not just making noise by accident.
Not at all. They are the sound of the music conservatory being looted by its own most talented students.
And the manifesto. It gets really specific about what they're rejecting. It feels like a declaration of war on the entire old world. They call it a corpse in a velvet coffin.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And they reject politeness. They see tradition not as heritage, but as a gilded chain, something used to restrict freedom.
And the musical rejections are just as specific. They reject the polite Viennese waltz, which is, the symbol of that whole courtly past. They reject clean tones, the safe 12-bar blues, the formality of the concert hall.
It's a complete war on the musical and social standards that keep society, well, placid and obedient.
So if we connect this back to that idea of intellectual anarchy, the manifesto puts it so well. It says, "We are the library book used to smash a window."
I love that line. It's about using knowledge and complexity as a revolutionary tool. You read philosophy not just to learn, but to find the perfect argument for your rage.
And Amara Klang, she embodies this physically. She's the neue Frau, the new woman, but pushed into a much darker, much more confrontational space.
Definitely. She's described as a kind of daddyist prophetess, an expressionist dancer. She uses her performance as a diagnostic tool for the rot she sees in the city.
You can even hear this in the rhythms. On the track, Broken Rhythm, the lyric is, "I won't march, I won't obey, the beat is dead. That's me breaking your rules."
It's a sonic declaration of rhythmic independence, a total refusal to conform to that straight, clean count of 4.
Which leads us right into the musical anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
If the philosophy is this kind of intentional chaos, how on earth did they manage to translate that into a repeatable, playable musical structure, something an audience could actually recognize?
That's the engineering of collapse. And it happens primarily in the rhythm section. That's the engine of the whole sound.
Okay.
Jazzpunk throws out the polite swing shuffle for this furious, urgent drive. It takes the D-beat from punk, that relentless motoric aggression, and combines it with the syncopation, the ghost notes, the complex cymbal work of a jazz drummer. They call this merger the blast swing.
A blast swing. That sounds structurally intense. How do you even do that? Is it like the hands and feet doing different things?
It's the intentional friction between them. Your feet are maintaining that punk aggression, a furious stomp on the bass drum, while your hands are introducing these complex polyrhythms and ghost notes on the snare. It's manic complexity fighting a relentless drive. And on top of that, they often take the traditional Viennese waltz and just corrupt it. They play it as this high-speed, jarring waltz of the damned in a totally distorted 34 time.
And the instruments themselves reflect this. The Schlagzeug, the drums, are deliberately proto-punk, right? Augmented with found percussion, metal sheets, pipes.
It's acoustic percussion literally fighting to be heard over the electricity.
And then the harmony.
The harmony is the signature sound of Anxiety. The guitars have that raw distortion, that percussive downstroke energy of punk, but the chords themselves are mangled jazz voicings.
Things like the minor 7 flat 5, 7 sharp 9.
Exactly. Those anxiety-inducing chords.
Okay, for those of us who don't read charts, what does a chord like a 13 sharp 11 actually sound like? What's the emotional impact?
It's worse than just sad or angry. It's the sound of information overload, of existential doubt. These chords have both consonant and dissonant information at the same time.
So they're unstable.
Deeply unstable. A sharp 9 clashes harshly with the major third right next to it. It sounds unresolved, sickly sweet, like something beautiful rotting from the inside. The harmony is literally the sound of societal collapse made audible.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. The key anachronism. The sources really emphasize the Zur guitar, the distortion guitar.
Yes.
And this is an archtop acoustic, the standard guitar of the 1920s, but it's fed through a primitive, custom-built valve amplifier.
And the sources describe it sputtering and crackling like electricity made audible. In 1920s Vienna, a city obsessed with acoustic elegance, this intentional use of distortion is it's a weapon.
It's the ghost in the machine.
It is. It's designed to make the guitar sound sick, angry, and just wrong. It's the sound of the future being dragged back to scream at the present.
But the ultimate voice of all this, the voice of the Ed, is the saxophone.
Absolutely. It is the primary melodic weapon in jazz punk. It doesn't coo like in some big band standard. It screams, it honks. Think Albert Baylor or Peter Brutzmann. It's the voice of unadulterated atonal freedom.
And structurally, they keep the songs short, punk length. 1:30 to 3 minutes. But they have one key indulgence, one necessary collapse.
The chaos break.
The chaos break. Tell us about that.
It's the essential moment. It's a mid-song collapse, usually signaled by a jarring cymbal crash, where the whole band just descends into 3 to 5 seconds of pure atonal, free-form improv.
A total breakdown.
It's the moment the mask drops entirely, the band collectively speaks the truth, and then slam. They're violently and instantly back into the main riff. It's where you see the monster underneath.
Okay, so let's turn to the lyrics. The sources call them the scalpels that dissect the old world. Amara's work really does fulfill that vision of, like, Allen Ginsberg fronting a hardcore band with a horn section.
And the connection to psychological warfare is so intense, especially in the transcript from Freud's Last Nightmare. Amara uses psychological horror to diagnose the entire city. Vienna itself is the patient on the couch.
And she suggests that the id, the thing Freud identified, isn't just a human impulse.
No, she says it's an alien entity, a cosmic parasite that's feeding on the city's neuroses.
And she turns Freud's work right back on him. The quotes say, the eye is in theory, it's got teeth, and the talking cure just started screaming back.
It's this terrifying idea that the parasite Freud named has now learned his name, and it's hunting him.
That fusion of urban history and cosmic dread is, that's central to the Vienna Shadows framework. Her lyrics are full of Viennese mysteries, urban legends fused with Lovecraftian themes.
Right. In the Waltz of the Black Canal, she sings of the thing that waits in the Black Canal. It suggests the city's own infrastructure is hiding these ancient, terrible secrets.
And the lyrics get so beautifully unsettling. They describe reality itself breaking down. She sings about angles that make my vision bleak. She sees carousel horses with too many legs.
The geometry of the world is breaking down. The chaos isn't just musical, it's metaphysical.
But these themes of cosmic horror are tied directly to aggressive liberation, especially for women of the era.
Absolutely. Amara's lyrics are manifestos for bodily and intellectual autonomy. Look at Manifest for a Marionette.
Right.
The idea is that the body is carved before a name is even given. Liberation only comes from cutting the wire. She proclaims, no strings, my own design. It's such an aggressive claim of self-ownership.
And this liberation plays out in the city's hidden corners by the Neue Frau archetype. In songs like Smoke and Silk and Basement Revolution, the themes are all about women with bobbed hair and lipstick like a weapon.
Breaking rules in smoky basement rooms, reclaiming space, defining themselves on their own terms.
The lyrics paint this clear picture of duality, of rebellion as a survival mechanism. The character says, by day, I'm a secretary typing letters for the win, but when the evening comes around, I'm someone you can't pin down.
It's an uprising, happening quietly by day and very loudly in the basement by night.
We've talked so much about the aggression, the screaming sax, the cosmic parasite, but you mentioned the sources have this essential counterpoint to the rage. After all this fury, how does Amara Klang bring in moments of human connection?
And that's the pivot. This is not pure nihilism, it's revolutionary community. The rage is focused outwards, which means internally there have to be solidarity.
Right.
In Basement Revolution, they proclaim, we don't wait for permission here, bodies moving, we own this block. It's about claiming space together, resisting alienation through shared action.
And that's crucial when they're facing literal monsters.
Yes. The sources emphasize group resistance. In the song The Cockatrice, the whole spirit is about standing as one to fight the beast. Every hand I'm holding makes me brave or bolder. They're rewriting history together.
But the simplest and maybe the most crucial antidote to the horror is this quiet human kindness. It's captured perfectly in that one unplugged track, Water at Dawn.
That song speaks volumes because it strips away all the dissonance. After a whole night of screaming at existential dread, a friend just brings you water. Something simple as the day when everything felt wrong.
It's powerful.
It shows that kindness doesn't need a grand philosophical theory or complex music. It's just about being grateful for the people who know what you need before you even ask. It's about making sure nobody has to face the cosmic darkness completely alone.
It's the quiet grace that lets them gather their strength to go and face the screaming parasite the next day.
So, in synthesis, Amara Klang's Jazzpunk it's this incredibly successful use of musical and lyrical dissonance. The blast swing, the Zur guitar, the chaos break, it all serves to articulate this deep societal and psychological anxiety.
It's the sound of a world that no longer makes any sense.
Exactly. A world where the id is an alien entity and tradition is just a cage waiting to be smashed open.
And the Vienna Shadows project provides this huge, flexible framework, proving the power of synthesizing history, horror, and sound. We've seen how jazzpunk used radical anachronisms and this aggressive musical philosophy to diagnose the rot of 1920s Vienna.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Consider this provocation. If jazzpunk is the sound of intellectual anarchy applied to a city's soul, to a political system crumbling under its own weight, what modern cultural or political setting, rife with its own economic anxiety, its own information overload and secrets and absurdities, would benefit most from this philosophy today? What modern monster is waiting to be struck down with a screaming saxophone and a distorted archtop guitar? Think about where your own Lermkeller should be located and what kind of blast swing you need to create to fight the chaos.
This concludes today's episode. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Until next time, Vienna Shadows, signing off.